Good day everyone, we are Group 8 and MK Rebus. I'm going to discuss the case citation. Here's of Amparo de Rosario Plaintiff Appeals versus Aurora O. Santos, Jovitas Santos Gonzalez, Arnolfo O. Santos, Archimedes O. Santos, Ermelina Santos Ravida, and Andres O. Santos Jr., Defendants Appellants. Source: The Lawfield Project, Arellano Law Foundation. Parties: Hearings of Amparo de Rosario, Plaintiff Appeals, Aurora O. Santos, Jovita Santos, Arnolfo O. Santos, Archimedes O. Santos, Ermelina Santos Ravida, and Andres O. Santos Jr., Defendants Appellants. These are the historical context. This case highlights the importance of clearly defined contracts, the proper application of legal principles like the statute frauds, the parole evidence rule, and the complexities that can arise in property disputes multiple parties. Okay. This historical context revolves around the legal evolution of contracts and proper disputes. Throughout history, legal systems have developed mechanisms to ensure that agreements between parties are clear, enforceable, and protected under the law. The Institute of Frauds, established in the 17th century, was a crucial legal advancement that required certain contracts, particularly those involving real estate and significant financial transactions, to be in writing. The principle aimed to be fraud and legal doctrine that maintain the integrity of written contracts by limiting the influence of oral agreement or external factors that could alter the terms of a signed document. Over time, these legal principles become essential in resolving complex property disputes, particularly in cases involving multiple parties with competing claims. Property law has historically been shaped by disputes over ownership, inheritance, and contractual obligations, making a clear legal frameworks necessary for fair resolutions. Courts have relied on established legal doctrines to interpret agreement, force contracts, and adjudicate conflicts between parties. This historical progression underscores the significance of well-defined contracts and legal principles in maintaining order and fairness and property transaction, ensuring that agreements are legally binding and disputes are settled based on established legal standard.
So now, let us proceed to the relevant articles in Civil Code. First one is that the Article 1303 of the Civil Code defines a contract as a meeting of minds between two persons, whereby one binds himself with respect to the other to give something or to render some service. This is fundamental to understand the agreement between the parties in the case. Second is the Article 1315 states that the contracts must be performed in good faith according to their terms. This principle is crucial in determining whether the Santoses fulfilled their obligations under the deed of sale. The next one is the Article 1319. This addresses the obligations of parties in contracts, emphasizing that they are bound to perform their obligation as stipulated. This article highlights the legal basis for the plaintiff's claim for specific performance. Another relevant article is the Article 13 1350. This article discusses the effects of contracts, including the obligations to comply with provisions that are lawful and not contrary to public policy. This article underscores the legal enforceability of the contract of sale. Next article is the Article 1357 grants the vendee the right to compel the vendor to observe the form required by law for registration of the instrument. This article is relevant to the plaintiff's right to demand an notarized deed of confirmation of sale. So next is the Article 1461 of the Civil Code permits things having a potential existence to be the object of a contract of sale, subject to the condition that the thing will come to existence. This article is relevant to the sale of 20,000 square meters of land, which was to be segregated from a larger lot. Next article is the Article 1487. This article addresses the expenses for the execution of registration of sale, which are to be borne by the vendor unless otherwise stipulated. This article is relevant to the court's order for the defendants to bear the expenses of the sale. And next article is the Article 1144, sets the prescriptive period for actions for specific performance of a written contract of sale at 10 years. This article is relevant to the defendant's defense of prescription. So the next article is the Article 1155. This article reinforces the 10 years prescriptive period for actions for specific performance of a written contract of sale. This article further supports the court's ruling that the plaintiffs was not barred by prescription. Now let us proceed to the summary of the issue or the key points. Ramon Santos and Aurora Santos for specific performance and damages, allegedly for failure of the latter to execute the deed of confirmation of sale of an undivided 20,000 square meters of land, part of Lot 1, PSU 206650, located at Barrio Sampaloc, Tanay Rizal, in malicious breach of a deed of sale, dated September 28, 1964. Amparo del Rosario died on September 21, 1980, so that she is now substituted by the heirs named in her will, still undergoing probate proceedings. Andres F. Santos also died on September 5, 1980, and he is substituted by the following heirs: Jovita Santos Gonzalez, Arnulfo O. Santos, Archimedes O. Santos, Gemelina Santos Ravida, and Andres O. Santos Jr. January 14, 1974, Amparo del Rosario filed a complaint against the spouses, Andres F.
Hi everyone, my name is Axel Gabriel Araqueño. Let's proceed the facts and issues. This case involved a dispute over a contract of sale for land between Amparo del Rosario, the plaintiff, and the spouses Andres Santos and Aurora Santos, the defendant. The contract and the dispute on September 28, 1969, Amparo del Rosario and the Santoses entered into a contract of sale for a portion of land. The contract stipulated that the Santoses would execute a deed of confirmation of sale after certain conditions were met, including the release of the title to the land and the approval of a subdivision plan. Amparo del Rosario claimed that these conditions were fulfilled, but the Santoses failed to execute the deed of confirmation of sale as the agreed. In 1974, Amparo del Rosario filed a complaint against the Santoses, seeking specific performance of the contract and damages for the failure to fulfill the obligation. This means she wanted the court to force the Santoses to complete the sale as promised and compensate her for any losses that incurred due to the breach of contract. This case revolved around the contract of sale for land, a common legal issue. The contract included a specific condition for the completion of the sale, and the court would have to determine if the condition of the contract were indeed fulfilled and if the Santoses were legally obligated to execute the deed of confirmation of sale. The outcome of the case would depend on the evidence presented by both parties and the court interpretation of the contract and relevant law. Issue. This case study like hers of Amparo del Rosario v. Aurora Os Santos involved a dispute over a contract for the sale of land. The court addressed several legal issues during the case, and the defendant, the Santoses, failed to deny the signature on the deed of sale. This was considered an admission of due to execution and genuineness, meaning they acknowledge signing the document voluntarily, and that is what accurate. This waived any formal requirement for the deed of sale. The Santoses tried to introduce oral evidence to contradict the term of the written contract. The court ruled this was inadmissible under the parole evidence rule. This rule states when a contract is clear and unambiguous, oral evidence cannot be used to change its term. The Santoses argued the sale was unenforceable under the statute of frauds because it wasn't notarized. The court clarified that while a sale of real property must be in writing to be enforceable, it doesn't need to be notarized. However, the buyer can compel the seller to notarize the document for registration purposes. And the Santoses claimed that plaintiff claim was barred by prescription, meaning that time limit for filing the lawsuit and passed. The court determined the plaintiff claim was not barred because the prescriptive because had not yet expired. This case highlight the importance of a clear and ambiguous contract in a real estate transaction. The court upheld the validity of the contract despite the defendant attempt to introduce contradictory evidence. The decision reinforces and then the enforceable of written contract even if they are not notarized. The court ruling of the statute emphasized that parties can be compelled to observe the form required by law for registration purposes. Finally, the decision to grant summary judgment demonstrates the court will not allow parties to delay proceeding the frivolous defenses.
Now let us proceed to the court's decision. The Supreme Court upheld the trial court's decision to grant summary judgment in favor of the plaintiff. The court ruled that the defendant's failure to deny their signatures on the deed of sale constituted an admission of its due execution and genuineness. Third is the court held that the defendants could not introduce evidence of oral agreements that contradicted the terms of the written contract. The court determined that the plaintiff's claim was not barred by prescription, and lastly, the Supreme Court ordered the defendants to convey the 20,000 square meters of land to the plaintiff and to pay attorney's fees.
This case, Heirs of Amparo del Rosario versus Aurora Os Santos, is important in Philippine law because it clarifies key rules about contracts, especially for real estate constructions. It highlights that while that while a written contract is better for selling property, the lack of notarization does not automatically make an agreement invalid. The court strictly followed the parole evidence rule, meaning verbal claims couldn't override what is written in the contract. The case also shows that specific performance, forcing the other party to fulfill their agreement, is a proper legal remedy. The court upheld this through summary judgment, ensuring a fair and efficient resolution. Overall, this case is useful study for legal scholars and students as it helps understand how to balance buyers and sellers' rights in real estate deals while maintaining the integrity of contracts.